If you've been watching my videos for a long time, you probably know me for being a depressed person. I started making videos online because of my depression. In the early days of the internet, I found so much comfort in creating my own world and making up characters. When I got bullied in school, in real life, I would make a character based off the bully and outsmart him in my videos. This was my catharsis. But honestly, it was never enough. I never cried. For many years, I wondered how I could feel nothing. I was worried about myself, and at the same time, I didn't care what would happen to me. But now, years later, I couldn't feel farther from this. I feel everything. I hate to admit this, but I'm a little embarrassed of the Nothing Matters brand I used to do. I appreciate that so many people were entertained by it. We had posters, backpacks, and long-running jokes from it. But looking back, I was wrong. Everything matters. I had myself in a trance that if I felt nothing, I could never be hurt. I wasn't living because of this. I didn't see my potential to become better than the sum of my parts. These days, I feel so much, and that makes me so happy. A lot of bad has happened in the world over the past year and a half or 2 years, but for some reason, I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. My parents got divorced. I got kicked off that one show. I've had to help family members cope with addiction. Because of this pandemic, I haven't been able to perform nearly as much as I want to. However, I'm happier than I've ever been. I have more drive than I've ever had. I feel so much, and that's my strength now. Overcoming my fear of feeling has helped me develop courage and become a stronger artist because of it. In the past 6 months, I've cried watching Star Trek. I've cried watching Gohan turn Super Saiyan 2. I've seen this a million times, but when Piccolo says, "Gohan doesn't like fighting," it hit me. Everyone has felt the pain of someone else's problems they created on your shoulders. A lot of us feel the need to be the person our parents raised us to be. Gohan just wanted to be a nerd. This made me weep for an entire 10 minutes. This may sound sad, but for someone like me who's always suppressed his emotions like a Vulcan, this is serious progress towards my humanity. Before I would just say, wow, that was cool, but now I'm truly feeling things. My fear of vulnerability is what stopped me from reaching a higher form of happiness. A younger version of me saw that pain that came with joy, so I opted out of both. I programmed myself to feel nothing. Basically, I was clenching my booty cheeks way too much. I forced myself to achieve a lot of things young in life because I was depressed. I felt like I needed to become something in order to prove to myself and the world that my life mattered. I no longer hold myself to this standard. I realized my happiness is the most important thing. Everything I've ever needed in life is already inside of me. The drive, the passion, the inspiration, we are all born with it. It's just so scary to look inward. It's scary to look your fears in the face. It's scary to change. And I've had to do a lot of changing. I truly believe that working out and exercise are really good medicine for depression. When I see actual fitness influencers, not parody ones like me, you know, the ones who look really nice, I'm like, damn, you hella depressed, huh? I decided to look at it this way. As a depressed person, I knew my mind wasn't going to feel well, but if I put effort in, at least my body would feel nice. My becoming dedicated and consistent with working out was somehow training my brain to function better. Now I'm confident in my ability to focus and learn anything. Before, I felt like a lot was out of my grasp, making excuses for why I couldn't learn something or try something new. Becoming fitter and healthier has helped me train myself to be consistent with anything. I had to switch my inner mantras. I had to stop saying things in my head like nothing matters and say life is beautiful instead, even if it wasn't true at the time. I would come up with new mantras every 3 months. When random depressive thoughts would surface, instead of searching them, trying to find truth in them, I'd just say to myself, life is beautiful, and ignore the negative intrusive thought entirely. Life is beautiful turned into, I have to become stronger. And when you start telling yourself, I have to become stronger, I have to, every day, you'll be surprised what it'll do to you. I realized I have to be my own self-motivator because no one else will. I constantly have to look myself in the mirror and cheer myself on. You got this. You can do anything. I had to stop identifying as a depressed person and start identifying as myself. I still have a lot of depressed person qualities I may not ever be able to shake. I isolate myself from people for months at a time. Oftentimes I find myself feeling nothing when I know I should. I had to realize I have a serious issue with joy and pleasure. There's something about my brain that does not enjoy being outwardly happy. But I also don't like to be angry ever. As a human being, these are things that we must feel. I realized I was doing myself a disservice ignoring these feelings when they arose. I am not an android. I am human. This took years of constant self-reflection to realize, and I'm glad everyone got laughs out of my android phase. To tell you the truth, I probably am still depressed, but I'm no longer afraid of losing my personal battle with depression. For a while, I never knew who would win, me or my shadow self. The shadow self that hated me. The shadow self that constantly reminded me of why I felt so insignificant. The shadow self that kept saying that no matter what you do, nothing matters. These days, my shadow self gets nothing but laughs from me. He's lost all of his power. He'll always be there, but I know he's feeding me misinformation. Your shadow self is lazy and wants to give you excuses to believe that nothing you do matters. Your shadow self wants you to lay in bed all day and eat unhealthily. Everything matters. Everyone matters. In the grand scheme of things, we're just a small piece of the glorious Milky Way galaxy in a solar system with a sun that may one day turn into a black hole and destroy everything. We have to get our stuff together and start working with each other to build a world where science saves us. I believe in an earth where everyone can have clean drinking water, electricity, Wi-Fi, power. The billionaires and someday trillionaires want you to believe there isn't enough resources for everyone. They want you to believe you're stuck where you're at. You're stuck at the job you hate. I don't believe this. And that's just a piece of the drive I didn't have when I listened to my shadow self. I had to start chasing my inner light. My inner Jean-Luc Picard. My inner Benjamin Sisko. My inner Catherine Janeway. I'm a Starfleet captain now. So pretty much I started watching Star Trek and it healed me from my depression. That and working out all the time. Now that I eat enough food and get enough sleep, my brain is healthier. Look, it's not a crime to love yourself. That was something I had to learn. What keeps me going is knowing how good it's gonna feel when I beat this. The day when I'm laying in my bed at 11 p.m. and I stare at the ceiling and I feel good for once and I feel warm, knowing that I conquered it all without giving up, I'll be an overwhelming type of happy.